This is pre-calculus homework questions from 5.1 and 5.2. All right, so I'm trying to go back to 5.1. I'm on page 334, number 43. All right, so this is 5.1, number 43. Here's the problems I'm going to work. I'm going to give you the answers for these. All right, so this is 5.1, number 43. So it's the square root c squared d to the 6 over the square root of 4 c cubed d to the negative 4. All right, I'm going to write everything under the radical and then simplify. So that's c squared d to the 6, 4 c cubed d to the negative 4. All right, I'm going to move c down because remember division is subtraction. So 4 stays in the denominator. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So that's c to the first power. I'm going to move d to the numerator. Remembering division is subtraction, so it's 6 minus negative 4. 6 minus negative 4. That's plus. So it's going to be d to the 10th. All right. Got that? Now I'm going to separate it again. So it's the square root of d to the 10th over the square root. I'm going to separate these terms in the denominator. It's the square root of 4 times the square root of c. This, in exponential form, is d to the 10 halves. I know the square root of 4 is 2. That would be c to the 1/2. I can't simplify it. I'm going to leave it square root of c. This becomes d to the 5th. That's d to the 5th over 2 square root c. All right, that's 43. 51. Same page. (51) is 7a squared 5b to the 3 halves over 5a to the 3 halves 7b to the 4th. Power raised to a power, we multiply. All right. This is 7 squared and a squared. It's distributed to both of the terms when those terms are multiplied, not when they're added or subtracted. All right, so I'm just going to write the exponents. This is 7 squared, a squared. This is 5 to the 3 halves, b to the 3 halves, all over. 5 to the 3 halves, a to the 3 halves, 7 to the 4th power, b to the 4th power. All right, look, my 5 to the 3 halves, they cancel because 5 to the 3 halves over 5 to the 3 halves is 1. I look at my 7s. My exponent in the numerator is 2. My exponent in the denominator is 4. I'm moving it down. 4 minus 2 is 2. So 7 squared is in the denominator. I look at my A's. 2 and 3 halves. 2 is bigger than 3 halves. I'm moving it to the denominator. So it's going to be A, 2 minus 3 halves. That's 2 minus 1.5. That leaves me 1/2. All right. My B, 4 is bigger than 3 halves. 4 is 8 halves, right? 4 equals 8 halves. 8 halves minus 3 halves is 5 halves. Got it? All right, so 7 squared I can do. It's a to the 1/2 over 49, b to the 5 halves. That's 51. 61. Let's look at 61. All right. It's the 5th root of t times the square root of 16t to the 5th. All right, this is the same thing as the 5th root of t times the square root of 16 times the square root of t to the 5th. I know what the square root of 16 is. I'm gonna convert these to exponents. So this is t to the 1/5. Remember, the numerator is under the radical, the denominator is the root. Times, square root of 16 is 4, times, this is 2, it's a square root, right? So it's t to the 5/2. So these are all multiplied. Multiplication is addition to the exponents. So that's going to be 4t. Multiplication is addition. I'm going to add 1/5 plus 5/2. But I need a common denominator. All right, so I'm going to write this up here. 1/5 plus 5/2. My common denominator is going to be 10. So I'm going to multiply this first term by 2 over 2. This second term by 5 over 5. So that I have 2/10 plus 25 tenths, that's 27 tenths. So it's 4t to the 27 tenths. And I don't believe you can simplify that. All right, so that's lesson 5.1. Let's go to 5.2. I'm on page 343. 5.2. Number 13. Number 13. List the transformations. List the transformations. All right. So it's g of x equals 4 times 3 to the negative 0.15x. All right. This is a vertical stretch by a factor of 4. All right. This negative has to do with the x value. So it's a horizontal reflection. So it will reflect across the y-axis. All right. Now, that 0.15, that's a horizontal stretch. So it's a horizontal stretch because it's multiplied. Added or subtracted moves its left or right. Added or subtracted up here would move it left or right. Added or subtracted down here moves it up or down. But we don't have any of those. We don't have a horizontal shift left or right or a vertical shift up or down. But your horizontal stretches are 1 over the value. So like I just do that. So it's 100 over 15, which is 20 over 3. That's the horizontal stretch. All right, number 17. Sketch a graph. Number 17. All right, so it's g of x equals 3. And I'm going to write this to 1/2 x instead of x over 2. I could have written it as x over 2. I can write it as x over 2. But just remember, that's going to be some sort of compression. Okay, so I know it hasn't been shifted left or right. So it's exponential. So it's going to go through 0, 1. All right. Now, let's pick values for x and solve for y. But I want an obvious number. So for x, when it's 2, that's 3 to the first power. It's going to be 3. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right. Now let's go to negative 2. Negative 2, it's going to be 3 to the negative 1, so that's going to be 1/3. About here. So actually it's going to look something like this. All right, 51b. Well, let me give you the answers to 50. And then 50 and 52. All right, I'll write them. 50. After 2 years, it's $783.36. After 3 years, $813.77. For 52, A is about 128,180. B is 13.07 hours. All right, let's do 51B. All right, so we have this function given, and it says, when will the population reach 2,500? So time, it's asking for time. So it'll be 2,500 equals 100 times 3 raised to the t divided by 10. All right, so you're going to divide both sides by 100. So you're left with 25 equals 3 to the t divided by 10. Now's when I'm going to logs. It's going to be log base 3 of 25 equals t over 10. I'll put this in my calculator. Math. Log base 3 of 25 equals that. Now I'm going to multiply that by 10 to get my time. Times 10. And it's 29.3 days.